Hey everyone, the Shakur Stevenson versus Nakathila fight just ended, and once again Stevenson was beyond dominant with a total shutout victory over his opponent. All three judges scored at 120-107 in favour of Stevenson, which in my opinion was the perfect scorecard. I don't really think you can see it any other way. Stevenson's defensive prowess is really something special, although to be fair, Nakathila wasn't on Stevenson's level to begin with. I think at one point in the fight at either the 6th or 7th round, Nakathila had only landed 16 punches on Stevenson, which, if you're looking at the statistics, would be around 2.2 or 2.3 punches landed each round. That's just a crazy statistic in of itself. Now, before we do get into the analysis, I cannot use footage of the fight itself, otherwise I'll be immediately copyrighted, so I'll just be able to use past footage of previous fights. As well as if you do enjoy my videos, please do subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. Now let's get into the analysis. So straight away, one of the main reasons Nakathila wasn't landing basically anything on Stevenson was the fact that firstly he wasn't setting anything up with a jab, and furthermore when he did shoot his right hand, he wouldn't step with the rear foot. Instead he would either lean in, or instead of stepping he would almost just float his foot around into a squared up position. In both scenarios what would occur is that the shot is so telegraphed, Stevenson could either step away from the fire, catch the shot on his glove, or just lean slightly out of the way. Furthermore, when you don't step with his rear foot as you throw the right hand, naturally all your body weight will be moving with this shot all the way to your lead side, causing you to lose balance if you don't land the punch. This can be seen numerous times throughout the bout where Nakathila would literally fall over himself or get caught on the way in. Now the other thing he would do that I previously mentioned was that Nakathila would float his rear foot into the squared up position. This is one of the worst things he could do in this fight, because when he would commit to this action, he would not reset himself back to his stance with either with a punch or a defensive action, and rather sit there like a deer in headlights, completely squared up, waiting for the explosive left of Stevenson. But this doesn't take away from the brilliance of Stevenson's performance, and we'll get to that right now. Now the beauty with Stevenson is that when he is sitting there analysing his opponent, his weight is about 60-40 split, slightly with a bit more weight on either the rear or the lead. Shakur Stevenson switches this weight distribution whenever he sees fit, and almost uses it as a slight feint or a small slip to change it up. He also does this by making his stance slightly wider or slightly shorter depending on the punches incoming and the ones he wants to shoot back. Now this movement in positioning the feet wider or shorter also allows Stevenson to see different holes in Nakathil's defense, as with each movement he's getting a different perspective on the position of his guard. Having these different perspectives is tremendously useful for a counterpuncher. And the reason why? Well, let's say for example Stevenson bends his legs a little and makes his stance a little wider. He can basically see straight away if his opponent is open for an uppercut. Now in this position, if he half slips to his lead side, he'll be able to see if there's an opening for an up jab or a lead uppercut. But if he half slips to his rear side, he can see if the rear hook or the rear uppercut is viable. Now this is all in a matter of seconds and a bunch of minuscule movements, and Shakur has mastered this extremely well. Stevenson's rear half slip is a bit better than his lead in my opinion, but that also stems from the fact that Stevenson is continuously looking for a rear uppercut or a cross. Now he is also constantly in position to either throw a hard right or an explosive left. It's just up to him to determine the range. Nakathila would throw these wild shots at Stevenson, and all Stevenson would have to do is a slight retraction of his left shoulder and shoot it, and the counter most likely will land right on Nakathila due to the positioning of both men, to the detriment of Nakathila and the consistent success of Stevenson. Now on top of all this, Stevenson would use these small slapping-esque hooks not to necessarily damage Nakathila, but instead pull or push him into a position where Nakathil's right hand was out of range, while also putting him into a position where he was completely open for a follow-up shot from Stevenson. Stevenson was in utter control from his footwork to the way he was generating power from very small shoulder rotations, and obviously the complete dominance of range. I hope now Stevenson takes on a better quality opponent like Jamal Herring, but that's neither here or there. This performance was pretty great. So that was my analysis of the fight, and I really do hope you enjoyed. If you would, please consider sharing this around on whatever platform you do, boxing forums, Reddit, I don't really mind, I just really would appreciate it. As well as if you did consider subscribing and checking out some of my other videos, again, I would really appreciate it. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.